welcome to Researching the Future. I'm Kendra Pomerantz, and I'm studying environment and economics at McGill University. Today, we're researching the future of sustainability. We're going to be speaking to people working on various aspects of environmental, social, and economic sustainability. But first, let's start with the low-hanging fruit. Something easy that anyone can do that makes a big difference. Composting. Hey, Mom.
Hey, sweetie.
You ready to talk about composting?
Sure.
All right. What do you need in the fridge?
Grab me a couple of carrots, please.
So, you have been composting for my entire life.
Yeah, over 20 years.
And what made you first start composting?
Well, it was when we got our first house and we finally had a backyard. Mm-hmm. We generate a lot of fruits and vegetables, or we eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, so we had a lot of, probably over 50% of our garbage was waste from fruits and vegetables, and I thought, I don't like putting all that garbage out onto the street. Let's put it in to the composter so then I can use it in my gardens.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, the average Montreal house, about half of their garbage could be composted. So what kind of stuff do you put in the compost?
Well, like today, I'm making some dinner. I'll have my leftovers. I'm going to peel the carrots. I would have peels from carrots. When I chop up my fruits, I have the rinds, the peels, the greens from it. I don't know. Do you want me to show you what I collect?
Let's take a look.
Here's one. I put it into a Ziploc because now that it's just Dad and I find it, I like to seal it up so it doesn't smell at all. And there's a tea bag. I've got some cantaloupe rind, some celery. What else is this? Coffee grains. I've got some carrots that didn't look too good, orange peels, you name it. There's some cilantro that was cleaned off, so whatever I can generate, that's what goes into it.
And what about paper products?
Sure, that all goes in. Kleenex, or if I wipe up a spill, I don't use paper towels, but I'll grab like maybe some toilet paper and I'll wipe something up. That goes in there too, because it all disappears by the end of, after a few months.
Well, actually, the average Montreal household's waste is about 50% compostable and another 40% recyclable. This means that only about 10% needs to be going to the landfill. When we put compostable material into the landfill, it breaks down without oxygen, which means that it releases large amounts of greenhouse gases as well as toxic liquids, and can take over 100 years to decompose. When we put these same things into the compost, they break down with oxygen, which means there's far less greenhouse gases released, no toxic liquids, and they can be ready to go on the garden in just a couple of months.
Yeah, so I bring about 3 bags a week to the composter.
Great, and are you layering that with leaves?
I have a bag of leaves beside. I throw a handful or 2 over just to cover it up a bit.
And are you mixing that at all?
A couple of times through the summer, I'll use a pitchfork and just mix it up a little bit.
And how about in the winter?
I compost all year round.
Yeah, because actually the first few inches will freeze in the winter, but the microbes inside will keep it warm and composting all throughout the year.
Yeah, and then in the late spring, I dig in and I've got gorgeous compost to put on the garden.
In the future, we're gonna have to eat more sustainably. For example, does it make any sense to eat apples brought in from New Zealand when we produce great apples right here in Quebec? It's about looking around and seeing where changes can and should be made. Just like they did at McGill, where they're now serving eggs produced locally, right here at the Macdonald campus farm.
We use about 350 dozen a week. So that works out to about 4,000 eggs a week. We had started getting our fruits and vegetables from the farm, and the horticulture technician, Mike mentioned to me how they produce eggs out there. And off the cuff, I couldn't believe that they had any large production. So I said, well, just tell them to send them all to us, we'll use them. I'm sure it still won't be anywhere close to enough.
We've been producing eggs at Macdonald Campus Farm for over 100 years. And typically what we would do is we'd send them to a wholesaler. They would be graded there and shipped out to different stores, could be as far as 300 kilometers away. What we're doing now is we're selling our eggs directly to the McGill Food and Dining Service, the McGill cafeterias downtown. So instead of a 300 kilometer roundabout trip to get to McGill downtown, they go directly from Macdonald Campus Farm, 40 kilometers downtown, to the McGill cafeterias.
And right now we buy, I believe it's somewhere around 130,000 eggs a year. We got really excited when we heard that we were going to be able to get eggs that were somewhere between 3 days and a week old, as opposed to what we've been getting ever since we've opened is, conventional eggs about 3 weeks, somewhere between 2, if you're really lucky, 3 weeks, 4 weeks old. So the difference between a fresh egg and a 3-week-old egg is night and day.
The benefit of selling our eggs directly to McGill cafeterias from the farm here at Macdonald Campus obviously is that we're reducing the amount of fuel we use to make our delivery, but we can produce an egg that has a much better flavor because it's fresh. It's guaranteed no more than 2 days old. So when you crack it in the pan, it doesn't run across the whole pan, it sits there nice and plump. The yolk is much darker, more yellow, the flavor is a little better. It's just people when they can't describe it exactly, but they know when they have a fresh egg versus one that's 2 or 3 weeks old.
If you've never had one that's 3 days old, you may not know the difference.
It's not a simple thing to grade eggs on your own farm. We had to get approval from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. We had to put in a certified egg grading station. Staff had to be trained. We have to keep records on every lot of eggs that are sold. Every time we grade eggs, we have to take a representative sample, crack them open, take measurements on the albumin, on their quality, keep all those records so that they can be inspected by CFIA inspectors whenever they want.
Our egg collection system consists of egg belts, which brings the eggs to an elevator. The elevator will either raise them up to the table or bring them down to the egg collection table. From the table, we manually place them on flat, so they hold 30 eggs each time. Okay, this is an egg grader, where we sort the eggs, we clean the eggs, disinfect the eggs, and look for anything abnormal, either cracks, blood spots, that sort of thing, that is not a sellable egg. Basically, they'll take the eggs, place them here, and the eggs will be going on to the cross loader here, and we'll observe them as they're going over the light. And once this heats up to around 100 degrees, you'll be able to start grading eggs. They're always washed, disinfected, dried, and buffed as they go through the system. When we're going through, we're looking to see whether there's any abnormalities, such as a cracked egg, blood spots, meat spots, oblong eggs and stuff like that. The eggs that are rough on the shell on the outside, we can't sell those as a grade A egg. Those are basically grade C eggs. And they're all sized by weight. People think that it's because of the size that they're actually getting a large size. They're not even thinking about the weight. But you can have an egg that's this big and weigh the same as an egg that's this big.
Being able to sell our eggs directly to the public and directly to McGill has been a huge plus for us. It's raised the visibility of the farm on the downtown campus, and it allows us to participate in this growing interest in local food and local food production. So people buying Macdonald Campus Farm eggs know where they're coming from, they know that it's locally produced, and they know that it's coming from McGill itself.
Sustainability is not just about our planet or our food. It's also about us, people. A new program at McGill focused on social sustainability, the Anti-Oppression Project, helps us recognize behaviors that can be oppressive to others.
Every year, McGill Residences welcomes about 3,000 students from different countries and different backgrounds. When that happens, often there can be new conflicts and new ideas are being presented. So it's very important that we create a space where everyone feels welcome and can talk about these ideas. There's a difference between fitting in and actually belonging. It's really the responsibility of any institution to ensure that students get what they need and are supported in the right ways.
I remember when I was a floor fellow, I observed this group of students that would spend a lot of time together, and one of them happened to be an East Asian female, and I saw them one time tokenizing her and making jest of the fact that she was Asian and doing peace signs and squinting. And it was taken in good fun, but I had to engage with them in discussing how that's destructive.
So can I ask, what are some of the initial thoughts when someone says anti-oppression? Sometimes there can be assumptions based on where you're from, based on your race, your learning style. So it's important that students are sensitized to these issues, as well as the students who may be targets of these assumptions are supported in the way that they want to be supported.
Think about where you are and where you're positioned relative to other people. It's about you, it's an exercise for yourself. Think about yourself throughout this whole entire process. It's for self-reflection. We can open it up for discussion later on.
Sustainability has three main pillars: environmental, economic, and social. So in our case, when we're dealing with social sustainability or anti-oppression, we really work to create communities built on respect and understanding.
If you took out loans to pay for university, step back.
One of the activities that we use when we're training staff and students is a step back, step forward activity. The idea is to allow students and staff to position themselves relative to one another and really see which perspectives they have a deeper understanding of and which they may not.
If you were ever offered a good job because of association with a friend or family member, step up.
This will allow students to talk about things like gender, rape culture, race in a safe space where they can deconstruct these ideas but also apply it to their everyday lives.
If you studied the history and culture of your ethnic ancestors in elementary and secondary school, step up.
As I was moving forward to the front, I was unaware of what was happening behind me, which is just I think says a lot.
I think that in exercises like this, there's always a certain level of discomfort, and I think that it's so important to sit in that discomfort and think about where it comes from and why it exists and why you're feeling it.
We also do workshops. This really helps to make sure that the material is accessible for students. So for example, we'll do a workshop on humor and popular culture.
If there's someone who's the punchline of the joke, or someone who's part of the setup of the joke, are all things that weigh in on that. I think this is very important, for sure.
And if we're talking about the historical legacy of yellowface, like Western humor, it goes back a really long time.
Yeah.
We can look at the Mikado from
I think it's really valuable that the anti-oppression training program provides a space for people to challenge these ideas of oppressive behavior and provide a space to discuss them.
At the end of the day, this training and this program goes beyond McGill as an institution. It's about providing students a space to learn outside of the classroom and to really equip them to become better citizens and community members.
Sustainable living is quite new for most of us. What's involved? And how can we incorporate more sustainable practices into our daily lives? Well, that's what the students living here at ECOLE are going to find out. ECOLE is the Educational Community Living Environment Project. It's a new residence for students who are all studying sustainability, but from very different disciplines. Let's check it out.
Hey, can I help with anything?
Yeah, do you want to grate some cheese?
This year, I am very excited to be living in ECOLE. We are a space for social and environmental sustainability, primarily driven by students. We kind of operate on three pillars. The first is living. We have a bunch of students living in the house trying to live sustainably. Our second pillar is learning. Each person in the house and members of the collective are hoping to commit to applied student research projects and to understand what it means to be sustainable and different ways that that plays out. And the last is community. We really want to be a hub for McGill students, McGill staff and admin, the Montreal community, and the Milton Park community. We really want to be a central space.
This has been a dream that people have been working on for making a reality for 3 years now, so it's very exciting that it's finally happening.
It just struck me as a really interesting idea. Us, a group of 8 students, how do we manage to live as sustainably as possible. As soon as I saw it, I was super down to just like get my hands dirty and start working on being more sustainable.
Being a student in the school environment, I also thought it would be interesting to learn more about like sustainability and to be able to like get my hands on it and to also be able to learn from other people that have different projects and different like domains and different like specializations. Just by being like in the kitchen and walking around and having these housemates that are involved in different kinds of sustainability initiatives and in different programs and doing their own kind of like exploration in different areas, it is a learning process to me.
I'm doing a type of research called material and energy flow accounting, and that basically means that I'm going to be looking at everything that's going in and everything that's coming out of the house and what's being done with that. So we're talking about electrical energy use, water usage, food that's coming in, and then on the sort of like what's going out in terms of garbage, biological or organic waste, and recyclables, weighing all those and seeing how efficient our use of these resources is. And seeing if our lifestyle is becoming more efficient, more sustainable, and whether that is clearly visible in that data.
I decided that I wanted to look into public spaces and how that relates to social sustainability, and with an emphasis on McGill and on the campus. How can we make the campus more user-friendly, more accessible, more open to new people, whether that be like students, first-year students that are not so comfortable, or members of the community that might not view McGill as a space where they're welcome.
So in terms of community building and how we hope to sort of be a positive force in the Milton Park neighborhood is really actively seeking out other community organizations that are already working on sustainability issues, making sure we're not reinventing the wheel, making sure we're being respectful of the history of this neighborhood, of what has already been taking place, and just playing any supporting role that we can in that while ensuring that we are an open space.
And the whole point of ECOLE is to do research that is not just academic, that doesn't only result in a research paper, but also is accessible beyond the academic sphere. So to do workshops, to do educational programming, to do pamphlets and other forms of distributing knowledge, and also to involve lots of people in the production of that knowledge so that it's not solely individuals that are McGill students engaged in this project, but also community members, people with diverse experiences in terms of community organizing, in terms of working around sustainability from the grassroots.
My particular area of interest is health and sustainability, and so where these two concepts and important ideas meet. I am a microbiology and immunology student also studying geography, and what I hope to research this year is access to healthcare in Montreal for immigrants without immigration status. And I think that really relates to social sustainability and having an accessible community. And I know that broad definition of sustainability is something ECOLE is really trying to look for.
The stuff we're trying to do research on is stuff that is meant to help the surrounding communities, so it's kind of essential that we're actually interacting with the surrounding communities and not just in our intellectual bubble of McGill, and we're really like getting out there on the ground level. I think that's one of the things that makes ECOLE really special and also really unique.
We talk a lot about sustainability at school and all these groups trying to organize around how do we promote sustainability in the community, and I think that having a house where sustainability is kind of like put into action a little bit and having people being able to come in and look and kind of learn, I'm really looking forward to that.
Shall we just dig in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Great.
I'm really excited about this. It will be nice to both be able to learn in an informal like environment, but also to be able to like build relationships and like develop relationships with my housemates and to challenge myself a little bit.
I think what I'm most excited and looking forward to seeing happen is how we all figure out how to live together in a sustainable way. I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic to explore.
This is easily one of the best beers I've had in my life.
I agree. I really think we need to publish an ECOLE cookbook about it. Yes.
Sustainability is the way of the future. The green economy is an increasingly important source of jobs and innovation. So much so that the Desautels Faculty of Management at McGill is one of the first business schools to offer degrees in sustainability.
Going beyond business as usual means unlocking the innovative potential of the private sector to make positive contributions towards social and environmental and health challenges.
The new programs in Managing for Sustainability that we're implementing here in the Desautels Faculty of Management at McGill University respond to issues of both supply and demand, I would say. On the supply side, we have students pressing for programming that will prepare them to meet the huge challenges that they see in the world and that they're eager to take on and to provide innovative solutions for.
I'm very excited about these programs. The first is a concentration, which is a bundle of 5 courses, and this particular concentration in Managing for Sustainability combines courses from across almost all the management areas: accounting, information systems, operations management, organizational behavior, and strategy.
So when I heard that McGill was implementing a BCom program in sustainability, I right away changed my initial plan of what I was going to do until graduation next year to change to enroll in this new program. It's time for managers to apply sustainability on a day-to-day corporate level scene. So I think this major is really something that would allow me to sort of change the way business is done and kind of direct it towards a more sustainable path.
In conjunction with that, we're responding to a shifting labor market. There are increasingly roles in companies that are specifically dedicated to addressing sustainability issues.
I decided to enroll in the MBA program to actually learn from the sustainability module on how to deal with sustainability challenges. And I would say mostly to look at them from an opportunity perspective more than a risk that needs to be mitigated at all costs.
Business used to be held in check by 2 powerful forces, religion and government, whose purpose was promoting public welfare. But business is now itself the most powerful source in society. As such, it must adopt a new purpose beyond the maximization of profit.
Sustainability issues are the single most important driver of innovation in the business world today. Whether you think of technological changes, new business models, new ways that organizations relate to stakeholders, it's sustainability issues that are really driving change across almost every sector of society.
There is not an option anymore not to deal with such issues, and us as leaders, we need to be able to deal with them. For example, you need to be able to create value not only for your shareholders, but also for important stakeholders like the environment and the society.
Sustainability is often said to rest on 3 pillars: the economic, the social, and the ecological. What we've witnessed in the past 100 years is an overemphasis on the economic to the detriment of the social and the ecological. An economic system can only be viable if there's a functioning social system, and social systems are only viable if they're within functioning ecosystems that provide clean water, clean air, food, and approaching all of them with a sense of balance rather than an overemphasis on one to the detriment or undermining of another. Another important concept in sustainability is that of the circular economy. And this is a lesson taken directly from Mother Nature. In nature, there is no waste. All waste becomes food for some other organism. And our economy will be moving towards one that is more circular, with recycling, take back, and the reuse of materials.
So some of the courses I'll be taking are such as sustainability and operations, information systems that are sustainable. Also, there's also something as such as green accounting and green financing. So there's a lot of different courses related to different functions of business.
The best talent in the world want jobs that are meaningful. They want work that they can be proud of. So with all of these pressures are coming together and nudging business towards innovating in ways that respond to sustainability issues.
It is definitely an advantage for a leader to know how to deal with the sustainability issues in the organization. And if you see our day-to-day job is changing because of different requirements from a sustainability perspective, from our customers, our partners, our vendors, so you need to be ready to deal with such challenges.
It's one of the first universities to offer management and sustainability together. I think it's definitely something unique and something new and something most employers will look forward to knowing more about it.
We take very seriously our responsibility as educators that we are training tomorrow's business leaders, yes, but we are also training citizens to go out there into the world and be responsible and to find solutions to the most pressing challenges.
Well, that's our show. I hope you've learned something new about sustainability and the increasingly crucial role it plays in our future. I'm Kendra Pomerantz. Thanks for joining us.